A very good evening to all our viewers and welcome to this Sunday's edition of Primetime News, coming to you live from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka. Let's start off with a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
President invites Sajith and Anura to join him. Ranil Wickremesinghe should contest the upcoming presidential election. A proposal from Minister Prasanna Ranatunga. Former President Maithripala responds to President's statement on the 19th Amendment to the Constitution. Why was the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution brought suddenly? Anura Kumara clarifies facts in Japan. MOU to field a Tamil common candidate for the presidential election to be signed tomorrow. Teachers and principals on Work to Rule campaign for 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Road to Election 2024.
A proposal that Ranil Wickremesinghe should contest the upcoming presidency was approved today at a rally held in Gampaha under the theme Ekwa Jayagamu, which loosely translates to Let's Win Together. The proposal was put forward by Minister Prasanna Ranatunga on behalf of the people in the Gampaha district, and it was approved by a show of hands.
Ministers and parliamentarians from the United National Party, Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna and several other political parties attended the Ekwa Jayagamu Api Gampaha rally that was held in Kadawatha this evening.
Adhigaru Janadhipati Ranil Wickremesinghe මැතිතුමන්ගේ සම්ප්‍රාප්තිය මේ මොහොතේදී එතුමන් මේ දරන්ත ජනරලිය වෙනුවෙන් එකතු වන මොහොත. අධිකාරු ජනාධිපතිතුමාට මාතෘභූමියට රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මැතිතුමන්ට ගම්පහ ජනතාවට ජනාධිපතිතුමනි ඔබතුමා ඊළඟ ජනාධිපතිවරණයට ඉදිරිපත් වීම අපේ බලාපොරොත්තුවයි. ඔබතුමා ඊළඟ ජනාධිපතිවරණයට ඉදිරිපත් වෙනකොට
Honorable President, our hope is that you will contest the next presidential election. Gotabaya Rajapaksa won the Gampaha district by a margin of 365,000 votes. We must remind you that we will work towards ensuring your victory with a similar margin to repay you for all that you have done for us. I make a request from you. We invite you. The time has come for you to decide on the upcoming election. We are walking on a rope bridge today. This rope bridge is dangerous, Honorable President. You cannot experiment while you are on this rope bridge. People with no experience cannot walk on a rope bridge. If that is the case, we must remind you, Honorable President, that you are the only one who can take the people of this country across this rope bridge.
එහෙමනම් මේ වැල් පාර්ලිමේන්තුවෙන් එගොඩ කරන්න මේ රටේ ජනතාවට හැකියාව තියෙන්නේ ඔබතුමාට විතරයි කියන එක අපි මේ අවස්ථාවේදී මතක් කරන්න ඕනි කරු ජනාධිපතිතුමනි.
Minister Prasanna Ranatunga called for the approval of a proposal that President Ranil Wickremesinghe should contest the upcoming presidential election.
විශ්වාස කරනවා ඉදිරි සතිය ඇතුළත ඔබතුමාගේ තීන්දුව මේ රටට වැදගත් වෙයි කියලා.
We believe that your decision during the next week will be important to this country. Some people ask me what the Pohotu is doing. I believe that the leaders of our party that we toiled to build will not pour into anyone. Honorable President, therefore we hope to put forward a proposal for approval here. I propose that Ranil Wickremesinghe should become the next president at the presidential election.
රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මැතිතුමා ජනාධිපති විය යුතුයි කියන යෝජනාව අපි අත උස්සලා යෝජනා සම්මත කරනවා කරු ජනාධිපතිතුමනි.
You saw all the people gathered here raise their hands. So now you have no escape from this, Honorable President.
After the proposal that President Ranil Wickremesinghe should contest the upcoming presidential election was passed, President Ranil Wickremesinghe addressed the gathering.
We have united with the countries that give us loans, bondholders, the IMF and everyone else to take Sri Lanka out of this mess. In a few more days, that announcement will be made official. All of these countries are now signing it, and once it is finalized, all of these restrictions will be lifted. We should move forward. We are carrying forward this revolution inside the country. This is a revolution brought for you to take the people of this country forward. We need to take this forward. I would like to say one thing. The future of this country cannot be prepared in accordance to the agendas of politicians. That will not be allowed. Politicians should change according to the agenda of the country. If not, this country will have no future. Therefore, I invite Sajid and Anura to join hands with us and move forward. We cannot stand and wait in line to get bread, fuel and medicine. Let's move forward. We are here to go on that journey. I have to reply to the invitation extended, and I will reply at the right time.
The members of the National Election Commission are scheduled to meet next Wednesday or Thursday. Chairman of the Election Commission R.M.A.L. Ratnayaka said that he hopes to announce the date of the election soon after the discussion. Former President Maithripala Sirasa said that the 19th Amendment was brought in to abolish the 18th Amendment that gave unlimited powers to the Executive President and to reduce the term of office of the President from 6 to 5 years. He made these comments while responding to a statement made by President Ranil Wickremesinghe regarding the term of office of President and Parliament in the 19th Amendment to the Constitution.
What is the ambiguity about the President's term in office? At a program held on Friday, President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that the 19th Amendment to the Constitution had not been properly drafted due to the lack of experience of Dr. Jayampathy Wickremaratne. However, President's counsel Dr. Jayampathy Wickremaratne denied these accusations in a statement issued yesterday. This was the response of former President Maithripala Sirisena regarding the tenure of the President.
I am the person who knows the most about the 19th Constitutional Amendment because when I became the common candidate and signed the agreement, it was not about reducing the 6-year term of Maithripala Sirisena. It was very clear that the 19th Amendment was brought in to abolish the 18th Amendment that gave unlimited powers to the Executive President and subsequently completely abolished the Executive Presidency. I must very clearly say that many have forgotten the 18th Constitutional Amendment. They are only talking about the 19th Constitutional Amendment. As my lawyer, when Dr. Jayampathy Wickremaratne went to the Supreme Court, he didn't say that the term of office of the President shouldn't be reduced from 6 to 5 years. He said that the term of the President in the Constitution should be reduced to 5 years if it's passed by the Parliament. I must very clearly say that the Supreme Court said that if it is passed by the Parliament, this President's term of office could be reduced from 6 years to 5 years.
කාල සීමාව නිල කාලය එය 6න් 5 කිරීමයි කියන එක මම බොහොම පැහැදිලිව කියන්නට ඕනේ.
Leader of the National People's Power, Anurukumara Dissanayake says that the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution that has been gazetted will have no effect on the presidential election that is due. The leader of the NPP went on to say that the current president is attempting to create uncertainty within the society as his candidacy at the upcoming election is uncertain at the moment. Leader of the NPP, Anurukumara Dissanayake, made these comments at a meeting held in Japan. Anurukumara Dissanayake was accorded a warm welcome.
කැඳවාගෙන මේ අවස්ථාවටයි ඔබ හා මේ මොහොතේ ඒකාත්මික කරවන්නේ රට හදන විසඳුමට ජන බලය එක පෙළට
විවස්ථානුකූල නිශ්චිත පරිදි මැතිවරණ කොමිසමට බලය ලැබිලා තිබියදී
At a time when the Election Commission has constitutionally received the power to declare the date for the election and call for nominations, there is a sense of uncertainty among the general public as to if the election will be held. But the people should not have any doubt about whether or not the election will be held. I will tell you what you should have doubts about. Will Ranil contest or not? What symbols will he contest under? Will it be the elephant or the Pohottua? Will Mahinda support Ranil? What party will he contest with? Today it is Ranil who is in doubt. It is this Ranil Wickremesinghe who is facing these uncertainties, and he is trying to instill a sense of uncertainty among the general public as well. He tried to do this twice through courts. What is he trying to do by bringing out the discussion on the 22nd Amendment? He is trying to create uncertainty among the general public. He is doing that because Ranil is facing an uncertainty. He wants to create uncertainty in the society. The 22nd Amendment to the Constitution, that is the amendment to Article 83 to the Constitution, has to be approved in a referendum. Now this amendment has been gazetted. In a week it has to be presented to Parliament. Then there is a time period of 2 weeks given to go to court against the amendment. The court gets 3 weeks to review the matter, and then after 3 weeks have lapsed, the determination of the court is sent to the Parliament. Then the date for the second reading of the bill is set. After the debate on the second reading, if 2/3 of Parliament support this amendment, the President is informed that the amendment has received the support of a 2/3 majority in Parliament. Then the Election Commission is informed to hold a referendum. By that time, Ranil will be at home. Not only that, bringing this amendment to clarify if the President's term is 5 years or 6 years and hold a referendum, it will cost 10 billion rupees. The court has already clarified as to whether the President's term is 5 or 6 years under Article 125 of the Constitution. The Supreme Court is vested with all the powers to interpret the Constitution. The Supreme Court has clarified as to whether the President's term is 5 years or 6 years on 3 occasions. This means that Ranil Wickremesinghe is spending 10 billion rupees to create uncertainty among the general public. We as the national people's power are ready for any election. A presidential election will be held, and it will be held at the proper time. Ranil will lose and Ranil will go back home peacefully.
ඕනෑම ඡන්දයකට සූදානම් සාහතික වශයෙන් ජනාධිපති ඡන්දේ එනවා නියමිත පරිදි පැවැත්වෙනවා රනිල් පරදිනවා සාමකාමීව ගෙදර යනවා. ඔක තමයි උත්තරය.
දැන් ඒගොල්ලෝ කරන වැරදි වලට සහෝදර බලයට ආවහම මොනවද දෙන්න ඒගොල්ලන්ගෙන් ගන්නේ?
සාහතික වශයෙන් මේ වංචා දූෂණ වලට එරෙහිව නීතිය ක්‍රියාත්මක කරනවා.
We will definitely enforce the law against fraud and corruption. They will be punished and the property will be confiscated. Recently, Ranil Wickremesinghe said that I have empty files and the details of the files are with him. I will tell you what happened. There was an anti-corruption secretariat. Many complaints were lodged at this secretariat. This secretariat received a complaint against Ravi Karunanayake regarding a fraud connected to a Prado. A complaint was also filed against Harrison regarding fraud and corruption during the sale of paddy and cattle. A complaint was filed over the distribution of land by the LRC. The moment new complaints started coming in, Ranil Wickremesinghe closed down this secretariat. This secretariat also received complaints against Ranil Wickremesinghe. So I would like to inform Ranil Wickremesinghe that the files that I have includes all the details. Not only that, I have 2 files on Ranil Wickremesinghe with me as well.
එඳ රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මම කියන්නේ මා සතුව තිබෙන ෆයිල් වල තිය සියලු තොරතුරු තියෙනවා. ඒ විතරක් නෙවෙයි රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහගේ ෆයිල් දෙකකුත් මං ගාව තියෙනවා.
The People's Action for Free and Fair Elections, also known as PAFREL, stressed that the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution that has been published in the Gazette cannot have any effect on the presidential election to be announced.
The Election Commission is ready to announce a presidential election. It will be held before the end of September. Even if the 22nd constitutional amendment is brought to the Parliament, there is no possibility for a referendum to be held before the presidential election, considering the time it takes to pass it in the Parliament. Therefore, this amendment will not have any effect on the presidential election. Also, we saw yesterday that the President announced in front of the local government representatives that he postponed the elections to build the country. If we believe that it was done for that purpose, now according to what they say, the country is built, but we are still experiencing the economic crisis. In such a situation, why is the government bringing an amendment in a hurry that will lead to a referendum that may cost 10 billion rupees? Again, they are misusing this money for their political needs. We strongly reject this.
Political parties and civil organizations are gearing up to sign an agreement to nominate a Tamil common candidate for the upcoming presidential election.
Several parties, including 3 political parties that left the Tamil National Alliance and are currently functioning as the Democratic Tamil National Alliance, along with several civil organizations, are preparing to sign a memorandum of understanding tomorrow.
We have already decided to nominate a common candidate. We will sign a MOU tomorrow with Tamil civil organizations to secure the rights of the Tamil people. We will announce our candidate as soon as they call for nominations.
எமது வேட்பாளர் யார் என்று சொன்ன விடயங்களும் அறிவிக்கப்படும்.
These were the views expressed by the leader of the TELO, parliamentarian Selvam Adekalanathan in Vaunia today.
நாளைய தினம் ஒரு ஒற்றுமையான அணியாகத்தான் ஒரு இனப்பிரச்சனை சம்பந்தமான
Tomorrow we will all get together and create one organization for election activities and national issues. If they announce a presidential election, we will nominate a Tamil common candidate. We hope to work as one group in the future.
தமிழ் பொது வேட்பாளர் என்ற அந்த அடிப்படையில் நாங்கள் அது சம்பந்தமாக செயல்பட இருக்கிறோம்.
Meanwhile, the National Party Convention of the Tamil Makkal Kootani was held today in Jaffna and was chaired by parliamentarian C.V. Vigneshwaran. The chief guest of this event was ITAC parliamentarian S. Sridharan. 4 proposals, including a proposal to nominate a Tamil common candidate for the presidential election, was approved at the convention. Minister of Public Security and Secretary of the United People's Party, Tiranalas, says that the era where people work for parties must end. The Nuwara District Conference of the United People's Party was chaired by Party General Secretary, Minister of Public Security, Tiranalas.
අපේ මහජනතාව කරන්නේ දේශපාලනයේ පස්සේ ගිහිල්ලා ඡන්දෙ දෙන්නේ තමන්ට රස්සාවක් ලබා ගන්න එක්ක තමන්ට ගියක් ලබා ගන්න ඒ අරමුණෙන් තමයි දේශපාලනය.
Our people go behind politicians and vote for them to get a job and get a house. It is with those intentions that they go to meet a politician. When police apprehended someone, they run to a politician. If someone is captured for brewing moonshine, they get a politician to call the police. These kinds of things do not happen in countries like Singapore. Our general public should also only vote for educated people who can do some work. If that happens, this country will build itself. Shouting at a politician while watching the TV does not benefit the country or the general public. Therefore, I believe that those who are engaging in politics should change the policies that they have had. This country can be developed by leaving no room for bribery and corruption, arresting anyone involved in such acts despite their stature in society, and appointing capable people who can work into office. We need to leave behind this era where we work for parties. I must inform you that our party too will only be willing to work with this kind of people. Therefore, we decided to build this country that way.
බදාගෙන වැඩ කරන කාලේ අතාරින්න ඕන. අපේ පක්ෂයත් එවැනි පුද්ගලයන් එක්ක පමණයි වැඩ කරන්න කියන එක මම ඔබලට කියන්න ඕනේ. ඒකින්ද අපි ඒ විදිහට මේ රට හදන්න තීරණය කරමු.
Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa says that a SJB-led government would provide 24 open universities to all 24 districts.
අපේ දරුවෝ කැම්පස් ගිහිල්ලා කෙලින්ම කොටුවට යන ලිප්ටන් මටරවුමට යන. ඒතර එක්සත් රාජධානියේ අවසාන විශ්වවිද්‍යාල වසරට පෙර රස්සායන.
Our children go to universities and straight away go to Fort Lipton roundabout. In the United Kingdom, the jobs come looking for final year university students. Here the students have to go searching for jobs. We must build a knowledge-centric economy. Therefore, we hope to establish 24 open universities in the 24 districts. Through this open university concept, many will obtain the opportunity to pursue higher education. It will build a skilled generation. I would like to say that before the end of this year, we hope to establish 24 open universities in all 24 districts in order for students to obtain a higher education without being subject to any time constraints or age limits. I would like to inform you that we will be dedicated to do that.
අලුතෙන්ම නිර්මාණය කරන්නට අපි කැප වෙනවා කියන එක මම මේ අවස්ථාවේ ඔබට කියන්නට කැමතියි.
The opposition leader shared these views while donating a smart classroom to the Uduwaludeniya Mahavidyalaya in Valigalla, Daulgala, Udunuwara in Kandy. This was the 351st phase of the Sakala Smart Classroom program. The Akurasa electorate meeting of the Samagi Ranaviru Balavegaya was held in Akurasa today, and the meeting was chaired by former Army Commander, retired General Mahesh Senanayaka.
We must build a government that will not fall for the next 25 years. When we look at the recent past, we have always been unstable. It is scattered. We are affected by power struggles between superpowers as a result of that instability. This is a chance to build a stable government. While doing so, I would like to remind you all that we will unite and emerge victorious. In that victory, Sajid Premadasa should secure a minimum of 8.5 million votes.
ලක්ෂ 85ක් ගත යුතුයි. අපි
We will change your lives. We will change the shape of this country. In 1977, President J.R. Jayawardena introduced a new capital, a new parliament and a new constitution. He also introduced a new election system. The next transformation will be done by Sajith Premadasa and his team. There is no other political force in the country like this.
The award ceremony of the Kandy District Early Childhood Education and Teaching Skills Development Program, organised by Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna parliamentarian Professor Ranjit Bandara's Kirula Foundation, was held yesterday. The event was attended by the founder of DP Education, Dhammika Pereira.
Looking back 75 years, the main issue I see is in preschool education. Our curriculum has not changed since 1980. If you take a phone that was released in 1980 or 1990, will it work properly now? No, it won't. It would be only 1 GB or 2 GB. It does not match with the technology available today. The same thing has happened to education. I hope we can work with awareness and common sense in the coming 2.5 months. I wish you all a bright future.
An amendment bill to amend the Code of Criminal Procedure has been published in the Gazette. The bill process and increase in the fine for the offence of bribery in connection with an election to 1 million rupees for the current fine of rupees 500.
The Code of Criminal Procedure Amendment Bill proposes to increase the fine for the offence of bribery by treating to 750,000 rupees from 200 rupees. The fine for the offence of unduly influencing an election that currently stands at 500 rupees is proposed to be increased to 100,000 rupees. The fine for the offence of personation at an election that is at 300 rupees now is proposed to be increased to 100,000 rupees. The draft bill also proposes increasing fines for many other offences under the Code of Criminal Procedure.
The Election Commission was empowered to declare the presidential election 4 days ago.
The power of the people.
The opening of the newly constructed golden entrance to the Ruhunu Kataragama Kirivihera sacred site took place today. The event was chaired by former President Mahinda Rajapaksa.
The opening ceremony of the golden entrance to the Ruhunu Kataragama Kirivihera sacred site was attended by former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, Speaker Mahinda Yapa Abewardena, President's Senior Advisor on National Security and President's Chief of Staff Sagala Ratnayaka and Air Force Commander Air Marshal Udeni Rajapaksa.
Kataragama is the only place in the world where there is no division based on race, ethnicity or religion. Therefore, regardless of any caste, any person can follow their religious observances and get blessings from Kataragama Deviyo. This is the only place we can have such a multi-religious experience. Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, it was at your request that I became Basnayaka Nilame for a short period of 3 years. As per your instructions, when you gave me the post of Nilame, you told me to make a way to get down to that river as it was done before. Former President, I have done it.
According to the ancient rituals, anyone can enter the Kataragama Kirivihera sacred site by crossing the Manikganga through the newly elected golden entrance. 55.7 million rupees was spent for this project.
Moving on to one of our headline-making stories, the Teachers and Principals Trade Union Alliance says that they will launch a Work to Rule campaign from tomorrow.
ගුරු විදුහල්පති සන්ධානයට හෙට දවසේ ඒ කියන්නේ 22 සිට සති දෙක අකුරට වැඩ කිරීමේ ක්‍රියා.
The Teachers and Principals Trade Union Alliance will be launching a 2-week work to rule campaign from tomorrow. The measures that we will take during that period include not taking part in any meetings called by the zonal educational heads and abstaining from participating in any program in schools that involves politicians. Also, we will be not taking part in any workshops and training programs organized by regional and provincial educational officers. For 2 weeks starting from tomorrow, we will only be teaching. We will not engage in any other activities because we ask the education authorities to solve our problems.
ඉගැන්වීම් කටයුතු පමණයි. වෙන විශේෂ කිසිම දෙයක් අපි කරන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද අධ්‍යාපන බලධාරීන්ට අපි කියන්නේ මේ ප්‍රශ්න විසඳන්න කියලා.
Trade unions are forming alliances across the country against state repression. These trade union representatives held simultaneous press conferences in various districts of the island.
Trade union alliances were formed demanding solutions to many other issues including government repression, selling national resources and providing insufficient wages. Representatives of a number of trade unions including the Ceylon Teachers Association, the Joint Development Officers Service Union, the All Ceylon Postal and Electrical Workers Association were present at these press conferences. The committee members from the Anuradhapura district convened a press briefing today.
කොළඹ ප්‍රධාන වෘත්තීය සමිති ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන මේ අරගල
This committee will continue trade union struggles launched by the trade unions in Colombo in the Anuradhapura district as well. Within 2 weeks, we will appoint committees covering all the districts in the country. We will make this trade union alliance a formidable force.
මේ රටේ ප්‍රධානම වෘත්තීය බලවේගය බවට පරිවර්තනය කරනවා. අපි පැහැදිලිවම
Through this trade union alliance, we will carry out all the trade union actions together across the entire country. We would like to inform the government of this. Clearly, we are building this alliance with all the trade unions that were isolated before.
සියලු වෘත්තීය සමිති එකතු කරනවා.
A trade union alliance was formed in the Hambantota district as well.
අද බිහි කරන මේ හම්බන්තොට දිස්ත්‍රික්ක වෘත්තීය සමිති සටන
This struggle of the trade unions in the Hambantota district that we begin today will continue until we win our demands of increasing the salaries of state sector employees and ensuring recruitments are made for vacant positions.
ජයග්‍රහණය කරනකම් අපි මේ සටන ඉදිරියට ගෙනියනවා.
Well, time for the short commercial break. Stay with News First. We will be right back.
Enjoyment for everyone. Engaging and entertaining. 2 globally acclaimed reality television experiences. Brought to you by Sirasa TV. Weekend television extravaganza. Sirasa Lakshapati at 7:30 p.m.
World class.
Sri Lanka's Got Talent at 8:30 p.m. Tune in for a truly immersive television experience.
The Symphony Orchestra of Sri Lanka proudly presents Romantic Masterworks, an enchanting evening of romantic-era masterpieces conducted by Dusyanthi Pereira, featuring Dr. Jonathan Guest on clarinet and young Sri Lankan pianist Dhiren Fernando. 27 July, 7 p.m. onwards at the Lionel Wen Theatre. Tickets available now. Electronic media sponsors: Yes 101, Legends 966, Newsfirst and TV1.
Welcome back. Here with News First. State Minister of Finance Shahan Semasingh has said a delegation from the IMF will arrive in the island next week.
The delegation from the IMF will be arriving to discuss several matters, including assessing the progress made after the completion of the second review of the third tranche.
We have shown that we have achieved economic stability, and we have also shown the 5.1% economic development rate in the first quarter in 2024. We hope to continue this development rate throughout the year. We also hope that the election timeline will be done in such a way that it won't disrupt the development and expansion of the economy. If there is no disruption, we can achieve an economic growth rate of 3.5% within this year.
State Minister Shehan Semasinga posting on X said that in the first 6 months of 2024, the government repaid 129 billion rupees more than it borrowed through treasury bonds and bills. He wrote, during this period, the government borrowed a total of 4,852 billion rupees through these instruments but repaid 4,981 billion rupees by rolling over the same instruments. Therefore, it is important to highlight the net borrowing rather than the gross borrowing. He went on to say before emerging from the economic crisis, the government relied on central bank financing, which led to an inflation rate as high as 70%. However, with the implementation of a new Central Bank Act, the government now manages the budget deficit independently.
The people once again staged a silent protest at the Thimberikasaya junction.
People of Colombo take to the streets again, united in their demand for good governance and a corruption-free future. These protesters are saying that the current state of affairs are still not in the best interests of the people.
At the moment, the president is giving so much of money to the people. He's promising people 1,000 things just before the election. But what is the election commission doing? Nothing. Absolute zero. They are turning a blind eye because they just allow him to say what he likes, give them what they like. This is not justice. This is not the country that we want. So I say to the election commission, it's not about, naming the date or looking at the auspicious time.
The need of the moment right now is elections. So we've seen the Supreme Court ruled maybe 3 times already, stating very categorically that the period of the presidency is 5 years, and that should be respected. But even after that, we see that there are other constitutional changes that have been brought about to obviously to delay this election process. And it's very clear that these are self-serving agendas.
We have seen over the last few months how the rulers bringing forward all sorts of efforts to postpone the elections, have the elections. This is our constitutional right. We have been waiting for quite some time now. So do not postpone these elections. Ensure that people can elect a ruler and members to the parliament of their choice.
The Symphony Orchestra of Sri Lanka, one of the oldest orchestras in South Asia, gears up for yet another exciting evening. Today, rehearsals for the Romantic Masterworks concert by SOSL got underway at PMICH.
Another enchanting evening with the Symphony Orchestra of Sri Lanka. I'm currently reporting to you from the BMICH premises, where rehearsals for Romantic Masterworks by Symphony Orchestra of Sri Lanka is taking place right here. This concert will be featuring 3 American musicians and most importantly along with a 17-year-old Sri Lankan pianist, Dhireen Fernando. The featured soloist for the evening will be Distinguished Professor of Clarinet, Dr. Jonathan Guest from the United States.
I'm back here in Sri Lanka for the second time performing with the Symphony Orchestra of Sri Lanka, and this year I'm really thrilled and honored to be performing a concerto with the orchestra. I'll be playing the second clarinet concerto by Carl Maria von Weber. Carl Maria von Weber was known primarily during his day as an opera composer, but we clarinetists know him as a composer of wonderful clarinet music, and this concerto that I'm playing is a really nice mix of both clarinet virtuosity and the drama and the lyricism that you'll find in an opera. So I think it's something that the audience will really enjoy.
Joining the SOSL is young Sri Lankan pianist Dhireen Fernando, who will perform Sergei Rachmaninoff's second piano concerto in C minor. A cornerstone of the romantic piano repertoire, the work is known for its lush harmonies and sweeping melodies.
I'm playing Rachmaninoff's second piano concerto with the Symphony Orchestra. I'm really looking forward to playing this. The Rachmaninoff's been one of my favorite pieces since I was really young, so it's really exciting to be playing it.
Under the baton of conductor Dushanti Pereira, the SOSL will bring these romantic era masterpieces to life, presenting a night full of melodies. Presented by the Symphony Orchestra of Sri Lanka, Romantic Masterworks promises a captivating and a memorable night of music on Saturday, the 27th of July at 7 p.m. at the Liner Event Theatre.
Moving on to news overseas, the Supreme Court of Bangladesh today ruled on the country's controversial employment quota system. Accordingly, the Supreme Court's appeal division dismissed a lower court order that had reinstated the quotas, directing that 93% of government jobs will be open to candidates on merit without quotas.
Protests across Bangladesh escalated into deadly violence this week, with clashes between students, pro-government supporters and armed police fueling widespread anger over civil service job quotas. Dozens of people have reportedly been killed and hundreds injured in the violence, which has seen riot police use tear gas and rubber bullets against protesters, and crowds of demonstrators armed with sticks filling the streets and university campuses in the capital Dhaka and other cities.
Why are students protesting?
Bangladeshi students are demanding an end to the government's quota system, which reserves more than half of civil service posts for certain groups. 30% of those highly sought-after jobs are reserved for relatives of veterans who fought in Bangladesh's War of Independence from Pakistan in 1971. The reserved roles are linked to job security and higher pay, and protesters say the quota system is discriminatory and favors supporters of Hasina's ruling Awami League party.
Why did the protests escalate in Bangladesh?
The protests began at the prestigious Dhaka University on the 1st of July and later spread to other campuses and cities nationwide in almost daily street gatherings that included rail and road blockades. The demonstrations became violent on the 15th of July when members of the Bangladesh Chhatra League, the student wing of the ruling Awami League party, reportedly attacked student protesters inside the Dhaka University campus.
How did the Supreme Court of Bangladesh change this decision today?
Bangladesh Supreme Court on the 21st of July scrapped most of the quotas on government jobs that have sparked student-led protests. The court's appellate division dismissed a lower court order that had reinstated the quotas, directing that 93% of government jobs will be open to candidates on merit without quotas. Ruling on an appeal, the Supreme Court ordered that the veterans' quota be cut to 5%, with 93% of jobs to be allocated on merit. The remaining 2% will be set aside for members of ethnic minorities and disabled people.
What is the current situation in Bangladesh?
Bangladesh continues to enforce a nationwide curfew to quash student-led demonstrations, with military personnel and police patrolling the large deserted streets of the capital Dhaka. Home Minister Azaduzzaman Khan says the curfew will continue until the situation improves. Dozens of people have been killed and several thousand injured. A nationwide internet blackout has drastically restricted the flow of information to the outside world.
Donald Trump has told a rally in Michigan that he took a bullet for democracy when an attempt was made on his life last week.
And then they read some of the things and they are extreme. I mean, they're seriously extreme. But I don't know anything about it. I don't want to know anything about it. But what they do is misinformation and disinformation, and they keep saying, he's a threat to democracy. I'm saying, what did I do for democracy? Last week I took a bullet for democracy. What did I do against democracy? Crazy.
And with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of Prime Time News. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night.